Hey, Pastor Steve Waldron. I hope you're having a great day or night in Jesus. Thank you so much for being with us. Do check out our other videos and join us daily. I want to talk about John R. Rice. Now, I've never met John R. Rice, but was good friends with Dr. Wally Beebe, and my wife was his secretary for quite some time. He and Winifred, wonderful people. And, you know, I went and hear Jack Hyles preaching all of this back in the day. I won't go into any of the accusations and pros and cons and his son-in-law and all of that. Ooh, I won't go into that. But anyhow, John R. Rice was hugely influential in American churchianity and Christianity in a broad sense. I'm not talking about in a strictly biblical sense. I subscribed and got the Sword of the Lord for many years, and till not terribly long ago, as a matter of fact. I always check, I always like to make sure it's still going, because even though I'm Pentecostal and they're not Pentecostal, in some cases anti-Pentecostal, some have had a lot of good friendships with independent Baptist in that circuit, and I really appreciate their stand for the Bible and the literalness of Scripture, the primacy of preaching, fervency and soul winning, even though obviously I disagree with them in the plan of salvation and that type of thing. But John R. Rice, you may want to check out some of this stuff, because being Pentecostal, being a holiness Pentecostal, like in his commentary on 1 Corinthians 11, it's one of the best and one of the only ones out there that really makes a strong case for a literal interpretation of 1 Corinthians 11 and hair. It's very good in that, very pro-life. I've read a lot of John R. Rice over the years. They used to have little Sword of the Lord pamphlets that were like 50 cents, and I read a bunch of those too. And he had one from 1938 called What's Wrong with the Movies. So, okay, you Holiness Pentecostals, they were preaching against the movies in 1938, and it is a classic. I've like passed it out to ministers before. I've just bought like stacks. So I was able to get them a pretty good price and just pass them out, because it's great. And so he's somebody, the John R. Rice Study Bible, and it would be difficult to really negate how much influence he had in the United States of America, because even Billy Graham sat on the board of the Sword of the Lord Foundation till like 1956, and they took a stand for separatism from the Southern Baptist Convention, what they felt was compromise and that type thing. So in a lot of ways to be commended. Of course, I'd have a lot of serious disagreements with them, but I always like to bring some materials that maybe are getting lost to the next generation, because, you know, I was raised by a pastor that was much like Gamaliel was. If you study Gamaliel, he was just like, look, eat the food, spit out the sticks, and love the truth, buy the truth, sell it not. But not everything you read is going to be just filled with truth. I find it fascinating that people that are like, no, you should only read 100% totally, you know, whatever. But then in their news choices, they're reading things that have willful misrepresentations and that type thing. So you have to be careful when you paint with a broad brush. And it's like somebody presented to me one time. They said Bethlehem is going to be 6 miles south of Jerusalem, regardless of the belief system of the person presenting that. I do know a bad tree can't present good fruit. And people like John R. Rice, I think they were raised in a particular day, and I think many times they may have been very sincere, maybe just didn't make it everywhere where I'd like them to be. They probably were Apollos and just never made it the rest of the way. But be that as it may, let the dead bury their dead. You may want to check out some of his resources. So God bless. We love you. We'll talk with you later. Thanks for being here. Bye-bye.